What is up, folks, and welcome to another Pokemon Showdown discussion video. Today we're going to just discuss our quick brief thoughts on the recent July tier shifts. And this tier shift is one of the less crazy ones. We're in that stage of the game where we have a 3-month period of giving the Pokemon the opportunity to prove its worth in a tier. There's only about 2 meta-defining shifts that have happened this season, unlike the previous shifts. Iron Crown has risen to OU for some reason, and Seperior, after struggling to keep a niche in the Overused tier, has finally fallen down to the Underused tier. All that and more in this Showdown video. Alright folks, as discussed, we're just going to give our quick, brief thoughts and just get you guys up to speed on what has happened in the July tier shifts. This will be more so a discussion type video, so you can do something in the background, have this be background music for you and background noise. Perfect content to fall asleep to, if I'm being honest. For those of you who don't know, I'm more often than not an underused player, and I have not played Overused in a serious fashion but once this generation. We're not really going to be talking so much about the OU usage stats, but more so on the shifts and drops, and more so on the UU and below usage stats for the 3-month period of April to July. Iron Crown. I'm extremely surprised to see Iron Crown having gone to Overused. As you can see, folks, Iron Crown was a staple on many hyper-offensive teams in the middle stages of the underused metagame. Very surprised to see Iron Crown rise to Overused. I'm not sure why it rose to Overused, to be exact. If anybody has an idea, let me know in the comments down below. And also folks, before we continue the discussion, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you have not done so already. We shall be doing a lot more videos like this in the near future. But for now, on with the video. I'm very pleased to see Iron Crown go because it was becoming quite... It was a Pokemon in Underused that you had to go out of your way to be safe against, lest you be swept by it late game, and had a variety of annoying, cheesy setup strategies with Iron Defense, Agility, Calm Mind, 3 attacks, Choice Specs, Choice Scarf. Tachyon Cutter was a great Steel type attacking move, but nonetheless very pleased to see Iron Crown go. Very good defensive typing for a hyper offensive Pokemon, almost the backbone of hyper offense. I think that the metagame will stabilize a lot more with Iron Crown being gone. It was number 4 used in the unused tier, not so far behind number 1, number 2 and 3. This shows how popular on 22% of teams basically. But nonetheless, now you can stabilize a lot more, not having to scramble for an Iron Crown check and keep an Iron Crown check healthy and go to unhealthy lengths to get Iron Crown, to be safe against Iron Crown. Moltres from RU to OU, I have no clue what Moltres is walling in the Overused tier. I've seen that Moltres is a good answer to Enamorous Therian, and I suppose Corviknight and Skarmory and Dragonite potentially as well. I think these usage stats from the OU Rises might be because of the World Cup and a trend that might have picked up in the Pokemon World Cup. People find answers to very aggressive strategies, and they tend to spam the living daylights of this Pokemon and practice him on ladder, I suppose. But yeah, RUBL to UU doesn't really affect any of the tiers, but it's just good to see for statistical purposes. Comfey has risen to the underused tier. Comfey also a very interesting Pokemon, very reliable staple on hyper offense. With a +3 draining case priority, it outspeeds everything you can on maximum bulk. And I was spamming the living daylights out of this thing when I reached rank 1 in the underused tier. But nonetheless, I think it will eventually go back down to RUBL. People are starting to figure out Comfey. With Iron Crown gone, maybe, but Excadrill is the number 1 Pokemon for a reason, and it is a Comfey check. You've got your Scizor at number 10 as well. Latios has the bulk to stomach a Draining Kiss. Zapdos, if you unfortunately get paralyzed by Draining Kissing it, that puts your Comfey in a difficult position. But potentially with the ban or the rise of Iron Crown, Comfey can find its place in the tier. Less game-ending Steel types to put itself in front of. Excadrill doesn't resist Giga Drain and is weak to Earth Power. Scizor has no recovery and tends to get worn down over time. So maybe there is a place for Comfey in the underused tier, I might be wrong. Alright, to UU, Cobalion. The reason why Cobalion has risen to the UU tier is one reason and one reason alone, in my opinion. Number 2 in the UU usage stats, low kicks. And unresisted first impressions and unresisted U-turn, unresisted knockoff. U-turn and knockoff are moves that every Pokemon wishes they could click. It's a no-brainer basically. If you don't know what to do, just U-turn out and see what happens. And if you don't know what to do, just knock off. You will gain progress by knocking off, and you will gain momentum and progress by U-turning. Now take away the ability to resist a U-turn. Make your progress sting the opponent. No wonder low kicks is being spammed on the UU ladder. Very, very good Pokemon. Cobalion resists the knockoff and punishes the knockoff with potentially contact. If you knock off the Rocky Helmet, you get chipped. And with the justified ability, Cobalion gains an attack boost, which means it can go on the offensive from that position. A good Stealth Rocker possesses the Volt Switch, allowing it to keep up offensive or defensive momentum for your team. Fun wave to annoy the opponent as well, and it's quite speedy at that. With Cobalion being gone, what does it mean for the RU tier? Bishop seems to be getting a lot better. It was a perfect Bishop check, resisting both stabs. Crawdaunt has an easier time smashing the knockoff button. Empoleon and Cyclozar have an easier time, with one less fighting type to worry about. And Kleavor, the Stone Axer, is going to be having a field day when the perfect counter, Cobalion, is gone. Just looking at the usage stats, Cobalion was in the top 10, so it is quite a blow to the RU tier. It wasn't broken in the RU tier, it's just that the UU tier had a genuine usage for it, and that is to counter the low kicks, being 4 times resistant to the Bug Stab, and punishing the Dark Stab, and being faster than it, and having the defense too, and the longevity with leftovers, and the support to not be a liability on the team, while countering one of the most dangerous threats in Underused. NU to UU, Rhyperior. There's another reason why, I think there's only 2 reasons why Rhyperior has risen to UU, and that is because of the birds, Tornadus and Zapdos. Also Sand, in a sense as well. Rhyperior has the physical bulk to stomach an Excadrill, Earthquake, and Earthquake it back into the dust. It beats Tyranitar. Tornadus was common on certain sand teams. It possesses the Ice Punch for the Hydrapple. And with good ground typing, what's not to love? I believe that Rhyperior was worse in the NU tier, surprisingly, than it is in the U tier. The fact that Zapdos and Tornadus are spammed so much on the underused ladder, most of those moves that they tend to click were bouncing off the Rhyperior. The Bleak Winds and Hurricanes were bouncing off. The Heat Waves, which were spammed on those 2 Pokemon, were bouncing off. And it allows Rhyperior to get up Stealth Rocks if it comes in on a Heat Wave or a Flying move. It allows you to potentially set up a Swords Dance or just do heavy damage, as Rhyperior does have an incredible base 140 attack stat, one of the highest in the unused tier, by the way. But due to the fact that Tornadus and Zapdos, especially Zapdos more so if you're running Volt Switch, give it the opportunity to come in and relieve some of the offensive momentum that the opponent might have, and use such prominent Pokemon as offensive, as setup fodder, or to slow down the pace of the game. It's no wonder that Rhyperior can use its talents in the underused tier. Solid Rock means that Excadrill will never kill, and a few other super effective hits from powerful Pokemon will never kill, like Horn Leech from Ogerpon doesn't always kill you. Also a good low kicks answer at that too, due to the high defenses. So no wonder Rhyperior has risen. We're not going to go so much into the lowest to the lower tiers, but NU to RU, I think the NU tier has lost a lot of big guys, hey? Crocodile being the premier, or one of the premier ground types, and Magnezone gone from the tier. I'm not sure what Magnezone intends to trap. Jirachi can just U-turn out, and Cobalion was never afraid of no Magnezone. Let's have a look. On closer inspection, there's not many Steel types that fear the Magnezone trap, as they all have a means to pivot out. But maybe the common Jirachi set and the common Fortress set, and potentially the Bishop as well. You could just Iron Defense and Body Press it. But maybe the common Bishop sets and Jirachi and Fortress sets have no means to punish the Magnezone switching. So that's why I believe Magnezone has gone up a huge blow to the RU tier. Very, very common Pokemon. Number 3 and number 4, absolutely gone. At least you have the Flygon still to remain your prominent ground type, even without Roost, surprisingly. Next, we're going to talk about the drops, the parts that I'm mostly excited for. I love using new tools and new toys. Sticky Webs. Reliable Sticky Webs seem to be in the underused tier once and for all, hopefully this time. And a Fairy type at that as well, which will always have a use in the unused tier. Underused was itching for good Fairy types. Before the rise of Ribombee, The only special attacking fairy type we had was Comfey, and that was somewhat unreliable due to the fact that so many steel types and fire types and all sorts of other shenanigans were popular to shut Comfey down. Again, OU to UU, Torkoal. The sun is available in UU in another variety, another form. I don't believe that photosynthesis will be good since it has competition with sand, and Tyranitar is a very good Pokemon in the unused tier. There's a lot of prominent ground types like Exeral and Donphan, which can don the Assault Vest to ensure that special attacking boosting Pokemon will not feel day in the sun and can just Earthquake them into the oblivion. But Ninetales was always available and people were not spamming sun strategies, even though Ninetales had Encore as a means to guarantee some setup or to force progress. It had Healing Wish as well to make sure you could maybe use it as a momentum tool to bring somebody back from the brink of destruction. So I don't believe that Torkoal will be spammed the living daylights out of, but I may be wrong, seeing as we can defeat Tyranitar with Body Press and threaten Mega Burns with Lava Plume with heavy damage, and we get up rocks and we can remove the rocks. So it's got a lot more support and utility than the Ninetales. Maybe Sun needed utility and not power. I wonder if utility is that valuable over power, at least. I don't really see Sun being spammed because it had all the power, and even if there's no utility in the Sun teams, what does that matter? All power, no precision, it's okay. I don't think this small amount of utility, the ability to get rocks up and off the field, is worth it at the end of the day. But I may be wrong. Lastly, a drop from OU to UU, one that I'm mostly excited for. I think it's quite overrated in my opinion. Seperior. Seperior has a very, very low special attack stat of base 75, meaning you need a couple of Leaf Storms to get yourself going. But it's not about the damage that you use Seperior. You use Seperior for the annoyance, for the glare, substitute, and leech seed shenanigans. The underused tier is a tier where there's a lot of good flying types. Assault Vest Tornadus rules the roost. Low Kicks' first impression is super effective, and is absolute grass type competition from Hydrapple and Ogerpon, which are leech seed immunities at that. And all the bird Pokemon have pivoting options. Even Latios can just pivot out and flip turn away from the leech seed. Scizor as well in the top 10, and Greninja can just Ice Beam or U-turn or Sludge Wave you this generation as well, for a more powerful option. So I don't think Seperior is going to be that great. I think it's potentially might even be one of the worst drops that UU has ever seen, but it's nice to have some new tools. I love starter Pokemon and I love Seperior. I love the annoyance factor as well. Another glare bot, I believe it will. I think it will only be a glare bot, just to get annoying and tease your way past a few opponents. There's too many good Pokemon to argue that in unused that threaten Seperior. Maybe the Terrestrialized Stella with Terra Blast Stella raising your special attack and having coverage in that way is an option, or Choice Scarf can make a rise to late game clean. I really doubt it though at the end of the day. There's too many resists and outs beans. But it doesn't really beat much in the top 10 underused. Seperior might have bitten more than it can chew. Terra Blast Fire might be something you should be interested in looking at. But like I said, Seperior's special attack is way too low, and the opponent, if they're smart, they're not going to build some weak team. They're just going to pivot to the Assault Vest Tornadus, see what the Terrestrialize is, U-turn out to Bleak Wind, sacrifice the Taunty, and just revenge you with Aqua Jet. Something in the back. Funnily enough, Goodra dropped from underused to RU, and Goodra is one of the perfect Serperior counters in the game, immune to Leaf Storm, giving you attack raise. I think Goodra might actually find a place in underused game if Serperior becomes a menace, but it is what it is. Lastly, I'm just going to briefly discuss some shocking revelations that I'm seeing. Breloom, a previous underused BL Titan, is in the NU tier, and Deoxys, an Uber hero, in the never used tier. Shocking performance. I would like to know your thoughts, folks. Breloom, Deoxys, absolutely shocking in my opinion. I suppose that the removal of Spore is one thing, but it received close combat. What happened? And lastly, from NU to PU, Raikou. Man, Raikou it didn't receive any nerfs, I believe, this generation. What happened? Did everybody just get so powerful, so bulky, so technical? No idea why nobody's using Raikou. I've seen Raikou in some underused teams before, and maybe I can make it work sometime. But yeah, Raikou is clearly not being used for some reason. And that is it, folks. That's all I've felt like I needed to talk to, and that's all I had an opinion on. If you have any opinions on the rises and drops, if you have any information about the rises and drops, let me know in the comments down below. What is the reason for all this? All the rises and drops. And what is your favorite thing about the July tier shifts? I'd really love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Anyways, that's all we got for this time. Anyways, that's all we've got for now. Until next time, folks, we'll be U-turning out. Thanks for watching.